Hey everybody, and welcome back to another BeamNG.drive video. Today I'm going to be sharing 12 things I think they should add to BeamNG.drive. Now before we get into the video, I just want to say don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and you can always change your mind later if you want. And share this video if you can. This video is my own opinion and ideas, so don't judge me. Thanks. Number 1. Customizable race game mode. I feel BeamNG.drive is lacking in customizable races. I for one think BeamNG.drive's driving physics are actually pretty good for sim racing and are kinda underappreciated. I think they should make a racing game mode, which would be selectable in the different types of game modes in the menu. Similar to the time trial game mode, where you could select your vehicle, map, track, amount of laps, and all that stuff. And it would also have a similar looking menu as the time trial thing. But instead, you would race AI opponents on your selected course. You would also be able to choose the AI cars category, so you can make it similar in performance, or if you want, completely different from yours. So, for instance, you could be driving a Pigeon and set all the other cars to frickin' F1 cars, or the other way around, whatever you want. Of course, you can also set the difficulty level for them and the amount of AI. Now, there are scenarios in which you quote-unquote race, but a fully customizable dedicated game mode for racing would give BeamNG some variety and a lot more playback qualities. On to number 2, local multiplayer. I think this one would be pretty cool, especially in a game like this. Local multiplayer is already sort of in the game in the form of the soccer scenario, aka the Rocket League ripoff, or the Demolition Derby scenarios, which can surprisingly go up to 4 players. But they aren't exactly what I mean. I think that local multiplayer should be available when playing in free roam. In that game mode I just mentioned, which was the race one, it would go together pretty good. Either through split screen or single shared screen like a Lego video game. I think it would be lots of fun being able to play together on one device and just smash the heck out of each other. Since it's already in the game through the scenarios I just said, I'm sure there's a way to actually do it on the current version, but I'm saying an actual option on the menu that makes it easy to access for all players. Yeah, I think multiplayer would go very well as well with BeamNG when it gets ported to console someday. Number 3, anti-cropping interiors. Now, have you ever been just driving in first person, enjoying your day in your beautiful interior, when you suddenly find yourself off-road and in the bushes, and notice that they phased right through the floorboards and are now in your face? Or have you ever been off-roading and found that the dust and mud is in your cabin smacking your face? Yeah, it happens to all of us. That's why I propose that BeamNG implement a game feature that stops things from cropping through the car. This would make it much more realistic and a lot less annoying and ugly. Number 4, scratches and mud. This is something I think BeamNG should completely add. They should make vehicles paint scratchable. It would make for much more realistic crashes. Because at the moment, if I sideswipe somebody and my door gets indented, I would get the feeling some of my paint should have came off, but it doesn't at all. So all I got now is a perfectly painted, dented door, which doesn't make any sense. This is why we need paint scratch and imperfections that occur while driving, similar to something like the new Need for Speed games. And then the paint would regenerate whenever you reset your car. And paint rubbing would be cool too. Another addition would be mud and dirt effects to vehicles when off-roading. For example, if I go off-roading and drive through a meter-deep pit of mud, I shouldn't come out looking perfectly clean like I came straight out of a car wash. The bottom half of the truck should be coated in mud. Mud Runner, for example, is a game that has a mud mechanic similar to what I'm talking about, which would be awesome to see in BeamNG.drive. Or when I'm just driving on a normal dirt road, some of the dust should stick to my paint and my car should start to look dirty, which would be very immersive. It would make off-roading a whole lot messier and a whole lot more fun. And if there's just some fussy clean freak out there who doesn't want his beautiful Pigeon getting dirty, they could just turn it off in the settings if they wish to do so. Number 5, weather and climate options. Weather is another thing that BeamNG seems to be missing. Currently, you can only change the amount of clouds, the time of day, and you also get access to a very simple wind tool, which only allows you to put the wind in one direction at a certain constant speed. I think it would be pretty cool if they added actual weather, like rain, snow, or a tornado if you want. For example, if you add that ability and you set it to something like a thunderstorm, it would get cloudy and dark and it would start raining, making the roads wet and slippery, giving a new driving experience. And wet road simulations are already in BeamNG.drive, which have been demonstrated through the wet donut areas in the ETK training center and the automation test track. And lightning could be something fun to play with too. You could set it up so it could rain randomly strike a car and blow them up every once in a while. Not too much because that would get annoying. Just an idea. Plus the rain would look cool, with raindrops rolling down the windows and stuff. For the snow, it may be harder to pull off for every map, but roads could get icy, giving us another cool environment. Number something I forgot track already. More car accessory interaction. Something that BeamNG.drive has been missing ever since its release back in 2013 is opening doors, hoods, and trunks. This is an obvious one that fans have been asking for a very long time. Many mods have been made, but no official feature has yet been made. BeamNG has added a few opening features, like the rear doors of the van or the tailgates on some trucks, but they've never added opening doors, hoods, or trunks on any other cars. The only way you could do this is if you rip them off. I also think they should add functioning windshield wipers, which I think would be pretty cool, which would go great with cleaning off the mud that I mentioned before, and also the rain I mentioned before. And even electric roll down windows. Wow. Would be awesome to add in the game. For example, the only way you can crack a window open right now is if you literally crack the window open. This is just an obvious thing that BeamNG has been missing for a long time, and I'm sure it's going to be added in the game someday. So don't worry, it's coming. Next up is ignition options on cars. Now this is a very short one, but I think it would be pretty cool to have. If you don't know what an ignition on a car is, it's the switch that allows the battery to give power to the car. It's different from the starter, which is used after the ignition is turned on to start the motor. Without an ignition, the car will not start. In BeamNG.drive, the ignition is always on. Hey, Jordan from the future here. While I was editing, I realized I said absolutely everything wrong. I said that the ignition is always on, but it is only turned on when the engine starter is on. So as you can see, it's off, right? But when I click the start button, the ignition then turns on and the engine starts. So as you can see, I'm in first gear, and theoretically in real life, if I roll down this hill and then let the clutch out, it should grab it and turn the motor on without using the starter motor. But if I do it right now, see, if I turn my engine off and I roll down a bit, here I go, very slow and steady. Alright, so I'm rolling down the hill. Now if I let the clutch out, see, it stops and the engine wants to turn on, but it can't. See? So the ignition is only turned on when the engine's on. See? But when you turn the ignition on, it's always turning on the starter motor unless the motor is off. Does that make sense? Okay, anyways, back to the video. More heads-up display speedometers and tachometers. The good old BeamNG.drive speedo gets a little boring and bland after a while, but there are no other official options for a replacement. There are mods, but not too many actually, which I think is very surprising. I think BeamNG.drive should add more speedometer and tachometer options, which would make for even better heads-up display customization.
This means something else. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh no!
Now this is a far-fetched one, but I think BeamNG.drive should add motorcycles. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jordan, they already have motorcycles. And I say, you stupid! I mean official motorcycles, not these janky mods that have been floating around. Something's always wrong with them. They either drive bad, look bad, or just buggy and give your computer viruses. An official selection and implementation of these motorcycles would be awesome. They have to have their own controls that are simple and easy to control. They could have all types of bikes, street bikes, cruiser bikes, dirt bikes, those weird trike things, cafe racers, whatever you want. I'm not sure if they'd actually consider this, considering the game's called BeamNG.drive, not BeamNG.ride. But if they did, it sure would be awesome, and I know people would love it. Next up, tow trucks. Alright, so this one is something that I've been wanting on BeamNG.drive ever since I got it. So why doesn't BeamNG.drive have a tow truck? I have no idea. This one time when I first got the game, I wrecked my car doing something. I forgot what I was doing. Anyways, I decided not to reset. I'm like, oh, I'll just go get a tow truck and tow it. It'll be fun. So I go to get a tow truck, but to my surprise, it doesn't exist. Like, what the what, dude? A game about crashing cars, soft body physics, and a unique node grappling system, and there's not a single tow truck? It makes less sense than the opening door thing. So I thought, oh, I'll check the repository for a tow truck. Somebody has to have made one, like a configuration for a truck or something. I quickly searched the repository and found no truck. What? I think BeamNG.drive definitely needs a tow truck. Make it a configuration for the Gavril D series, H series, or even the T series. All of them would be perfect candidates for a tow truck setup. In fact, they all have a flatbed or car hauler version already, but not a single tow truck, which is just really stupid because I really wanted a tow truck. Next up, walking mode avatar. So recently in update something, I forget, they added walking mode, which was pretty cool, where you could exit the car, walk around, enter other cars, except the character you are when you get out of the car and walk around is invisible. I think they should actually add an avatar that has animations and everything that's linked to the walking mode character. I think there's a bunch of mods, but this is just an idea, because if you add that, they also have to add them in cars while you're driving, but still, that'd be pretty cool. And finally, best for last, VR support. So virtual reality is something people have been asking for a long time. Although the VR craze has died down, it is honestly never a bad time for a game to introduce VR compatibility or some kind of VR experience. Plus, BeamNG is almost the perfect game for VR. It's fun and destructive. They just introduced walking mode, and because the graphics aren't extreme, it won't be completely garbage on VR compared to the actual game. My fellow YouTuber Neilogical makes a bunch of BeamNG.drive content, go check out his channel, but in a video a few weeks ago, he used a program called VorpX to play BeamNG in VR. Well, sort of. It was viewed on a VR headset, but it doesn't have the 3D effects. It's still pretty cool though to watch, and it gives us a good idea of what VR could look like on BeamNG.drive potentially someday. I really hope that the devs introduce VR at some point in the future. I think it would be a really big selling point for the game, and it would just be plain fun. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the final one of the 12 ideas that I think they should add to BeamNG.drive. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more BeamNG.drive content and whatever the heck I feel like posting. Share with your friends, do all that stuff. Okay, bye, I love you.